Hey everyone, we've made some upgrades to our user interface. So I just wanted to go through that with you today. First, if you're going to the repricer, you're going to repricing, going to item repricer, that's going to pull up your repricing tab. You can always use those three lines up here in order to make your screen a little bit bigger. Let's go through the new order one at a time. We have a Reprice Now button, which will allow you to press that cash sign and you can run repricing on just that one item if you end up making any changes. You have a fulfillment channel, which allows you to filter by either FBA or FBM if you so choose. We have a SKU count. If you have multiple SKUs on one ASIN, this will show you that. So in this case, they only have a few. Some people have 3 or 4 child SKUs per ASIN. You can see that there. We have your ASIN, that's obvious. We have your Amazon parent ASIN. This will allow you to filter by Amazon parent ASIN if you want to do pricing by a specific ASIN. Your product name is pulled from Amazon. We also have these tooltips, which if you'll see here, when I hover over it a little bit here, it pulls up. So this is product name. This is the product name as it displays on Amazon's front end. That throughout the software is going to be helpful to understand different parts of the tool. Here we have our warehouse fields. This is going to show you what's at each stage of the Amazon warehouse. So here is your FBA warehouse inventory. This is what's in Amazon's warehouse completely. This is AFN fulfillable. This is what's available for sale now. When you go on and look at your item, you can buy it today as opposed to being in an FC transfer, something to that effect. This is your warehouse quantity plus what's inbound. And this is your warehouse and total inbound quantity, meaning that it's a working shipment. So this column here means it's been shipped already, and this column here means it's working. So you get to see all of these as you are looking through your repricer. This represents your FBM inventory if you have any. This column is now blank, but is available if you wanted to put in your warehouse inventory of what's available at your warehouse. This is an option to put in through the product catalog section. So if you add that, you populate that in the product attribute section of AZsellerkit, and then that would be populated so you can make decisions. Next is going to be our notes field. So when you're making updates, we recommend that you make notes as for when you made updates, or if you had a different strategy or decision, you can put this into the notes field. Next is our enable repricing section. And now an important note, anything that's filled in green means it's a required field. If it's not filled in green, you can move it off when you're making an import. So the next thing here, enable repricing needs to be set to yes if you're going to be repricing an item. We have our repricing strategy. We have a couple of strategies here. You have calculated target velocity. We have in here in your dropdown, you have the ability to do fixed price or liquidation. Fixed price is the equivalent of just setting it to a stable price, and the repricer won't necessarily be on. It's just going to be at that price. And liquidation means the item is going to go down faster than it's going to go up. Here, if you do have the item set to fixed price, this is where you would set your fixed price. So if you had that set to fixed price and you populated this with a $19.99, that means your item would be at $19.99. This is where your fixed daily target velocity. In this area, you would set this to either yes or auto. If you have this set to no, it's going to calculate based on your inventory levels, which we'll discuss in a minute. If you have this set to yes, it's going to calculate based only on the target velocity value that you populate in this column. And if you have it set to auto, it's going to switch between your desired days of supply and overstock days of supply and your daily target velocity, depending on which one is more important. So if you're out of your inventory range, then that will function, the auto one will function by increasing your price if you drop below your desired days of supply. Otherwise, it will use the fixed daily target velocity value that is put in here. Here is what used to be days to sell out. We've now updated that to say desired days of supply. If whatever this number is in here, you're setting this at 10 in this example, we have this means that if you drop below 10 days of supply, the software will increase your price. If you're over 10 days of supply, it will be at your desired price. And here we put your overstock days of supply. So your overstock days of supply would be just if you're over 100 days of supply in this example, then the price would start decreasing towards your floor price. The inventory reference field is where you're going to choose to calculate your inventory. So we're going to give you the 4 options of where you can look at your inventory. You have warehouse inventory, which is what we recommend, which means it's in Amazon's warehouse. Then we have fulfillable inventory, means it's available for sale right now. Then we have FBA warehouse inbound quantity, which means it's on the way, as we discussed before, and total inbound, which means it's a working shipment. So the more inventory that you show available, the less aggressive the price is going to be on the way up. Here is your cost, here's your current price, and what we're doing here now, we're going to be auto-populating when you have new items, your floor price, your desired price, your max price, and your ceiling price. Your desired price is going to be your current price. Your floor price is going to be set to 5% below your desired price, and your max and ceiling price are going to be set at 10% above your desired price. We have here your ceiling price trigger days. That will be auto-populated at 5 as well. That means that we like to make sure that your item is achieving your max price for at least 5 days before we start to push up towards your ceiling price. We find that the Amazon algorithm responds better when the prices move up slowly, so you have more of a chance of maintaining the buy box as prices increase, as opposed to doing one quick price increase. We have this also auto set to peak weights, which means that you're going to be looking at your last 7 days of sales with a weighted algorithm that weights each day in the period differently, with the most recent data being weighted more heavily. If you set this to no, that means you would want the software to look at your last 30 days of data. Change desired price at next run. This is in a case where you'd want to update your desired price. If you have a new cost, the software would automatically update. If you click this to yes, the software would automatically bring your price to the desired price if you click that off to yes. Reprice by group. Some people like to use this if they want to reprice by ASIN or by style. You can click on this, and then the software is going to total all of your data based on ASIN or your style. So if you have sales between FBA and FBM and you want that to be aggregated, you can choose that, and then the software will treat the days of supply and the velocity as a combined number. Date to sell out by is actually does not have to be filled in. This is only if you would like to set your item to sell out by a specific date. Usually do that at the end of the season, or if you know you have product landing from a manufacturer to your warehouse, you can then set this to say that I know that on December 3rd, for argument's sake, the item is going to land, so try and keep me in stock until then, and then at that point, after you pass December 3rd, it will default to all the other rules. So this acts as a countdown of days of supply. Next thing is the repricing frequency. We recommend that you reprice twice a day. You can set that to once a day if you want the items to be less volatile. And then here we have a bunch of other factors here that we are keeping track of. We're going to keep track of your days priced at the floor. So if you have a consecutive amount of days at the floor and you know that it hits 5, 10, 20 days, you might have to reduce your floor even further to sell items at their overstock. And by the same logic, we're going to keep track of how many days in a row your items are priced at the ceiling, so that you see if your item is at the ceiling for a number of days in a row. At that point, you can run report and decide to maybe increase your ceiling price. We recommend that you put in your base price for when you started with the tool, so that you have a recollection of sometimes where you started. If you move stuff around, it is not necessary to do that, but you can. And then as we get into this section, we're going to give you your days of supply that you have available on this SKU, which is based on the inventory reference field that you set. So this is based on your last 7 days of your velocity. This is what your days of supply is. This would be based on your last 14, 30. So in this example, you can also see, the days of supply is dropping as you go, which means you're starting to, sell out and sell at a higher rate. And then these columns here also show you the trends of what your projected daily velocity is on your item going in order. So in this example as well, you see the trend of this item is increasing in its daily velocity. So this will help you to make decisions when you're trying to pick a projected target velocity. You can use this as a direction so that you can, make decisions as far as where your target is. But target velocity is a discussion, full discussion for a different video. This shows you your recommended for profit. So basically, if your current velocity is 2.83, if you were to tell the software you're willing to accept 2.41, then the software would start increasing your price. And we do the same thing at velocity, where if you increase your velocity targets, then the software will wait much longer until it increases your price. Here are just some other basic stats. This is going to give you information of how many units sold in a given period. And the rest of it is basically updated from your product catalog. So hopefully that is a quick overview, and that should help you if you are a new seller or if you were using AZsellerkit before we made this update to understand the new update to the catalog. Thank you.